I'm starting to record now. Okay, let's create a new project for this. Let's call it week 1 exercise 2. And let's keep going. So now in this one I'm just going to close all because I don't need now to use anything. I'm going to create a new class. So I'm going to define this class named payment. So that's the name of the class that contains an instance variable of type double that stores the amount of the payment and appropriate accessor and mutator methods. So that's I'm going to do that. Walaikum salam. Walaikum salam. So that's the first class. Now this class has just this double variable. I'm going to call it value because I think it makes more sense. This is the value of the payment, or the amount, maybe that makes even better. The amount of the payment. Now I just need to insert the getters and setters by just selecting this thing and encapsulate fields because I would like this to become private. And here we go. So we have these accessors and mutators. By the way, which one is the accessor, which one is the mutator? The accessor is the get and the mutator is the set. Yes.
No, I was asking about getter and setter have another name.
That's what I'm saying. Accessors and mutators. So also we need to create a method named payment details that outputs an English sentence to describe the amount of the payment. So I need to have this public void payment details that is going just to display the amount. Okay, how can I display the amount? Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to assume that first of all my code, as I always try to encourage you to do, if something is too complicated, just simplify it, do it, and then increment, make it bigger. Now the simplest thing that I'm going to be able to do is what if the amount is only 1, 2, 3, 5 and up to 9, from 0 to 9, just to keep it easy. Now what I need to do, then a couple of ifs, or maybe a switch. Or if else if. I don't know if there's like a very, I just need to do something like this maybe. So if what? If the amount is 0, I'm going to display 0. Else if, I'm just going to alaikum salam. Else if the amount is 1, I'm just going to display 1. So it seems a little bit too easy, but at least I have something. So I'm just going to speed up a little bit and do the 2, the 3. And keep going with a lot of copy and paste. Now I have 4, 5 and 6. Because that was the requirement. But the requirement was to be double. So later on we need to deal also with the decimal values. Yes? But let's just simplify things and just think about only integer numbers. So I'm going to assume that the numbers are going to be 0, 1, 2, 5 and up to 9. Later on I'm going to extend it to 10, 11 and 12 because these are special cases. Even if they are combined, they just still need to be this exact same number. So now if I do something like this, I just need to continue to 7, 8 and 9. So this is what I need. 5, 6 and then I need to have 7, 8 and 9. And 9. We can also use 10, but anyways, but let's just keep it for like this one. Now I have this warning because it says I can flip it to a switch, and NetBeans can offer you, this is just a warning, you can swap it to a switch if you want, but I don't want, I just cancel that. I just keep it as an if else if, that's fine. Now what is missing is the constructors. I'm just going to insert those constructors. Maybe the one that does not do anything is going to be not really necessary, because by default the default value is 0, but if I keep it, I can just do something like maybe more straightforward, so I can explicitly mention what is the initial value, and then when it is specified, this is whatever is going to be given to us, I'm going to be storing it. The question did not talk about constructors here because it was supposed to be used from here, but I'm just using it so I can just, because you see it says include appropriate constructors from down there, but I can just include these ones so I can try them now. Now my point is that I'd like to create a payment, a new payment, and let's put a number that is 5, and let's call that p dot what is it, payment details. Now if I run this thing, I should see 5. Well, maybe I can just make it a little bit more, so the amount of the payment is something like this. I can just display something more interesting by doing a small improvement, by doing something like this, and without going back to the line, because I'm just going to display the amount of the payment is, and then a space, and then after that I'm going to display one of these things, and it's going to be something like this. No, I don't want to see the amount in numbers, because if you put plus amount, it's going to show you the amount in number. I don't want to see that. So that's pretty easy, straightforward, but that's not exactly what all I wanted. Now if the number is greater than 10, we have problems, because if you have something like, you try this with 15, now this is going to be, the amount is, and there's nothing. Now we would like to be able to display something like that, so let's just go here and then continue. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to keep going, do the same thing for 10, 11 and 12, maybe. Why? Because these are kind of similar. So 10, 11 and 12. Why only those? Because these look like these are special cases. Because 13, 14, 15, they seem to follow some kind of a pattern. It's 14 and then 15 and then 16 and 17. So I can find a better way maybe to do that. Or if I don't, I can just put them all up to 20. But then after 20, there's 21, 22, 23, which is basically something that is going to be using one of these things here. So how to do that? Well, let's try to find out. So now if I have something that is like this kind of a special cases like these ones, I'm going to display them, this 11 and 12. But if not, I just would like to be able to display the numbers one next to each other. So for example, when it's 10, well, that's fine, but when it's 21 or 33, so these are two words that are 30 that I need to have, and 3. So how to do this? To do that, I need to separate when I have, for example, a number that is more than one digit, like say, for example, 33 or 35. If I'd like to display this 35, what should I do? I should do some kind of, I need to separate the 5 from the 30. But what I can do here is just, I can have some kind of number one by one only from the right to the left by doing this kind of amount modular division 10. Now if I do this thing, now for example, let me just make it a number. Let me call it digit. So if I do something like this, I have a problem because this is a double, and I would like to get used as if it's an int. So let me simplify things first. I'm going to make this int just for making things easy at first, and then I'm going to bring it back to double to do whatever is needed. But now if I make it int here, I need to make some corrections because now this is int, and in the getters and setters this should be int as well. Okay, now having done this, if I have this here, let me just maybe comment all these because I don't want to see them for now. Now what happens now to this? This is going to give me what? If I display digit, what should I see? Just I'm going to see the first one. So imagine now if I'm calling this with 35, what I'm going to see is 5. So this one is going to give me the 5. So if the number was, if the amount is equal to 35, now this is going to make it to be 5. Now if I'd like now to display 5, what I should do, something like this, but instead of amount it should be digit. So what I'm going to do, actually I'm going to do something interesting. I'm going to create a new method just for fun. I'm going to make it private because it's not need to make it public. Private string get digit. So this is going to take, let's say, an int. This is one digit. It's expected. This is one number that is only having one digit, and I'm going to return one of these because it's one digit. It's up to 9. So I'm just going to copy this and do this and uncomment all those. And instead of amount, this is going to be digit. Why am I doing this? Because this is something I'm going to use a lot. And instead of system.out.println, it's return 0. So I'm going to do something like this. I'm not sure if you see why I'm doing it. Can you tell me why am I doing this? Am I making it a return? Because later on, exactly, I will use it by using this get digit. I'm going to give it. Okay, delete. I'm almost there. And here it is. Now, if it's 0, the digit is 0 is going to return 0. If it's 1, it's going to return 1, etc. Now, the advantage of using it rather than this one is that, let me just get rid of this, is that I can do something like, now that I get the digit, I'm going to ask me get digit of the digit. Now that's getting confusing. I'm going to rename this to get word. Now this is here by Control R. Notice what happened. It's also was changed here. When you would like to rename it somewhere, that's the advantage. You click, you press Control R, and then whatever name you're going to use is going to be also used here. So whatever you type is going to be there as well. Now get word of this digit. Now this digit is 5. If I get the word of this, I need to see. Cancel. What is happening? I'm having. Oh. There's no return here. Okay, there's no default return. There's a problem here. It says that this is not missing return statement, because what happens if there's nothing? I'm not if this is 0, it does this. For everything else, it must return something. So I'm just going to return just something empty. When something else is given to me, return an empty text. I don't care. So if someone, for example, give me 35 to this method, the result is going to be nothing. This is an empty string. Are you still with me? If you have a question, you have to ask. And let me tell you one thing. I'm taking some time for your benefit because this is basically Java 1. There's nothing about Java 2. I haven't even started Java 2 yet. So if you have any question, you should ask about it. I'm not going to do that every time. And you can see, I can see in your eyes, there's a lot of complication that you need to focus on. So if there's any question at any point, you ask about it. Yes?
This is for the 0 to 9. So if you want to, like, for 20, we copy this and put it in.
Exactly. I'm going to do another one for the tens.
Yes.
Exactly.
So on.
Exactly. That's what I'm going to do. This is for the word for the digits, but then later on for the tens, I'm going to use another one similar to this, so I can have the tens and 20s and 30 and so on. But now I just would like to show you that it works by just running this and giving it a 5. This is 5. Why 5? Because I've put 35 here. So it extracted the first letter, the first digit, and then it displayed it. Now if I put any other number, let's say 39, it's going to display now the 9. So this is a step towards what I'm trying to reach. Now what is missing is the 30, because I need to see 39. I'm seeing 9, but I'm not seeing the 30. So how can I see the 30? I need to get the other digit, the other number, that is going to be the 3. Now let's get the tens. By the tens I mean the 10 or 20, 30, 40, 50. Now this is the 30 that I'd like to get. How can I get it? Now this amount has 35. I need to get the 3 now. How can I do that? What happened? Is that working?
No, stop.
Okay, so now what I need to do in order for me to be able to discard the 5 and use it only the new one, I mean what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this, I'm going to declare a new one that's just for the tens, just to make it easy for you to follow up, but I'll reuse variables. But in the tens here I'm going to put the amount divided by 10. Now if 35 is divided by 10, this is an int divided by int, the result is 3. Now all I need to do is to, well, this is now it's displaying this, but I don't want to display this first. But now I need to display the tens. This 3, it should be 30, not 3. Now if I just do something similar and then take this and put it instead of digit, I put tens, I'm going to see, well, this is the first one that is going to happen, is this is 5, and then I'm going to see 3. So what I'm going to see here is 5, 3. 9, 3. Yeah, because I put back to the line here, let me just and because it was 39 here, let me bring it back to 35, so the comments are still valid. So it says it's 5 and then 3. Why 5? Because this is the first one that was displayed, then the second one. I don't want to have them displayed like this, but fine. Instead of 3 now, I just would like to have 30. So what I need to do, something similar to this get word. So this something would get word for tens. I'm going just to copy it and paste it, and this time it's get tens, for example. Now this get tens, if you give me a number, then if that number is 10, I'm going to display 10. Else if the number is 20, so there's going to be 20. If it's 30, so 30. Okay, 40, let me just put the numbers so don't get confused. 50, 60, 70, 80, and then 90, and then for the hundreds, that's going to be another story. Let's just put this into an else. Well, that's fine. So now 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, yes?
I think it would be 1, 2, 3, 4 because it would be divided by 10.
I know. Oh, yes, you're right. Oh, that's a good point. You're right. Exactly. Very, very good point. 70, 80, let me finish this and then I'll get back to your point. Yeah, 80 and then 90. Now this is not going to work. Why? Because when we call this method, when we're going to be calling this get tens, are we sending 30 or just 3? So then if here we keep 30, this is not going to be true any time. So if I need to actually make it, if it's 1, then it's going to be 10. If the digit is 2, it's going to be 20. If it's 3, that's 30. So that's why actually I was going in the wrong way if I was doing this. But now if I do it this way, if the digit is 1, it's going to display 10 or 20 or etc. So now if I just run this, now I have 530, which is good. Now I just need to have it in the right order, and to do that I just need to, instead of always displaying, I'm not going to display, I'm going to declare a variable that I'm going to call it the result, and to that result I'm going to, the first time, every time I find a word, I'm just going to put the result is equal, so the first time this is going to be this, but the next time what I should do with the tens, I need to have result is equal to this plus some kind of a space maybe, and plus the result. What was in the result is the 5. Now I'll put it at the end, and before it I put a space, and before that I put the new number that I just found. So now this is working for the amount is, because nothing is displayed here, that's why I'm not seeing anything. Now what I need to do is just display results. Now if I run now, the amount is 35, and let's now get a little bit more to test it. Whatever is 39, so it's going to be 39. Let me fix this. Now what about 59? So this is going to work for any number except for something like this. For this 10-2, these are kind of some special cases, but let's deal with them later, because this should be 12 and 11. Also these ones, this should be 16, but I'm going to say 10-6. So these are special cases for now, but it's a good start, right? But before going to deal with those special cases, let's keep moving on, and because it's a small portion that is not working, let's just move on with the hundreds. What should I do now to make it work with the hundreds? Exactly the same thing. Now if this was, for example, 235, if I divide this by modular division by 10, this is going to give me 5, right? No. This is going to be, no, sorry, this is going to be 5, yes. But if I divide, so this is going to be 5, this is going to be okay. But this one is going to change, because if I divide 235 by 10, the result is 23. Now this is going to be the 30, so what I need to do now is, so if this is 23, am I going to see 30? Like here, this thing here, this is now 23. If I run this, look, this is the number 235. If I execute this thing, this is what I get, 5. Why? because this thing here is going to be 5, and this 5 I get the word of that 5, and then I have it. Then I'm looking for the tens, but for the tens, if I just divide it by 10,
So show 23 and 23.
it will be 23. That's not what I want. I just would like to have the 3, not with the hundreds. This showed me the hundreds and the tens. Now I need just to get only.
So what if we divide it by 10, the remainder 10?
Now what I need, this number here, I need to get the 3, what I need to do, this tens should be
Remainder 10.
exactly 10 reminder 10, or tens actually, reminder 10. Now this is the result of this is going to give me 23 reminder 10. It's going to give me 3. So this one is going to give me 35. I just need to get now the 2 for the 200. So how to get that? Well, basically what I need to do something which actually, instead of doing it this way, I can do it another way, which is like this. So this becomes some kind of a loop. What is happening is that the amount, instead of being 235, I change it to be only 23, because now I took the 5 and I displayed it. So let's just make the amount to be 23. But I know that 23 is not 23, but it's actually 230. So what I need to do, the next thing, is to take this amount and okay, and then just so maybe it's much more, it's easy to read, because that's what is going to happen. The next thing what is going to happen to get the hundreds, and I don't know, threads. To get the hundreds, I need to do the same thing. This amount I need to divide by 3, which is going to, by 10 again. What is the amount? The amount is 23. If I divide it by 10, it will become 2. And then I need to, for the hundreds, I need to do exactly the same thing. The amount modular division 10. This is going to give me what? 2 modular division 10. That's 2. And then the result is going to be something like get hundreds. I don't know what is wrong with me with this. Even the hundreds. And this should give me like this, get hundreds, but I should do something similar to this. The 100 should be the first thing, and then plus I'm going to add the results. But I don't have the hundreds yet. I'm going to copy the same thing and then make them for now for the hundreds. So this is tens. I'm going to make them
Why don't you take the first one and just add the word 100?
hundreds. Why the first one?
The first one we did was 1, 2, 3.
Yes, it will be much easier, exactly, because I need to have 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. So why do I need actually to have a new method? If this is something that exists, all I need to do is just to add the hundreds. Why should I do something like this? Then maybe what I should do, instead of get hundreds, we call it get word. How did you name it? Get word of that. It's better to have a digit this time. Actually, let's rename it to get digit, because it makes more sense. And then I'm going to give it these hundreds.
Yes, plus the word.
Now what I need to do is to have, so it's 100, 200, and I need to have 235, 200 and, so now if I have something like this, so it's 235, and this is now going to work with a lot of numbers up to 999. Okay, let's just do something like this. It's 969, so up to 999. If I have 1000, then The same idea with 100 is the 1000 and so on. But you get the point.
We deal with it like digits.
Sorry?
We deal with the hundred like
Exactly, because what we need to display is 100, 200, 300. So we just use the 1 from this get digit, and then we just display 100 and all the time. Is it clear now? Okay, so before going further, I'll just stop here. I would like you now, before showing you the code, you've seen enough to be able to do the same thing again on your own. So just reach this step, and just you can add the 1000, so to prove that you know exactly what you need to do.
So we should stop at the 1000.
Yes, just for fun, for now. Yeah.
4,000. Should I do same thing, but instead of 100,000?
Exactly.
1,000 and
Yeah, exactly. So let me free you.